News out of Washington, D.C. today. The U.S. and Mexico agreed to a trade deal, but President Donald Trump says it won't be called NAFTA. Instead, it will be renamed United States-Mexico Agreement. RFD-TV's Sarah Monk joins us now live with the latest details. Hello once again, Sarah. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Janet, of course. Well, a landmark day here in Washington for trade and ag trade in particular, with the president and Mexican President Peña Nieto reaching that landmark agreement on, as you said, the U.S.-Mexico trade agreement. President Trump did sneak in right at the end of his press conference that he will be withdrawing, eliminating the current existing NAFTA agreement. He did not give any specifics on when that will be, but he did talk extensively about not using the name NAFTA anymore, that he thinks it has bad connotations and that folks will prefer to call it the Mexican-U.S. Free Trade Agreement. We did hear a number of, we did learn a lot about this agreement already this morning, even though it was just announced about an hour ago. The president did have some specific messages for agriculture, and he acknowledged farmers in his address who have been vocal advocates for preserving the current level of access to North American markets under NAFTA.
And for the citizens of both countries. Our farmers are going to be so happy. You know, the farmers have stuck with me. I said we were going to do this. And Mexico's promised to immediately start purchasing as much farm product as they can. They're going to work on that very hard.
Of course, President Trump very excited about Mexico's participation in this new trade agreement. He did take some shots during his announcement at Canada, again addressing that what he calls that 300% tariff on U.S. dairy. He says he won't stand for that, but he did say he'd also be in contact with Canadian officials soon to bring them back into the agreement. The current, of course, arrangement that they've made does not include Canada. One of the reasons for sure why they're not calling it NAFTA anymore, but they hope it will. And Bob Lighthizer, the U.S. Trade Representative, said he will be sending a letter to Congress making this deal official by Friday of this week. We did hear from him just moments ago on the phone as well. Senior officials addressed a key issue of the agreement, which was that sunset agreement, which instead of being every 5 years will now be every 16 years when that deal will be looked at again and reapproved. Janet?
Well, Sarah, as always, thank you very much for the details. The latest report is that hogs are limit up following this announcement. Well, Alaskan fishermen are worried about the next round of Chinese tariffs. According to Politico, Senator Dan Sullivan wants the Trump administration to remove seafood from its list of Chinese products targeted for those taxes. He says much of the fish China ends up selling were originally exported to the country after being caught by Alaskan fishermen. The potential for 25% duties already caused cancellations and delays and creates uncertainty for his state. Well, the U.S., the European Union, and Japan finished another